Hey guys, hey, it's Brie here, coming at you guys with another video. Today I want to talk to you guys about learning how to stand on your own 2 feet and just becoming more independent, because I feel like the two just kind of goes together a little bit. So if you guys haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I think it's down in this corner. And if you like this video, well, then give it a thumbs up. Let's go. So learning to stand on your own 2 feet can sometimes be a little bit on the hard side. I understand, because I've been there. There was a time in my life where I honestly thought that I could not literally stand on my own 2 feet, that I was just falling down this dark hole. I almost like to refer to it as Alice in Wonderland, where she's just falling down that hole until all of a sudden she like lands on this little table. And she has to eat like one of those little candy things. I haven't watched this movie in a very long time. It used to be one of my favorites. I should probably watch it again if I'm going to refer to it. But that's kind of what it reminded me of at that time. It's just I was falling down this hole, the rabbit hole. And then I was just going through this whole maze and dream of just being chased around by the Red Queen and everything else. And in a way, that was kind of how it felt. It was not how it actually was, obviously, because I didn't fall down a rabbit hole and there are no Red Queens here that I know of. Took the time to just learn to stand on my own 2 feet. I just took the time to literally stand on my own 2 feet. I know this sounds weird, but literally getting up in the morning and moving with the motions and learning to get up and, you know, putting my feet onto the ground and just get out of bed. You know, some days you just take it one day at a time and you just get out of bed, and that's okay. But you need to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet, you know, and it can mean so many different things. It can mean going out there and finding your own place in the world, going out there and helping out with the bills at home. You know, maybe you have never actually written a check to the electricity bill. This has happened a few times, and that's okay. But maybe take the electricity bill and say, hey, this month I'm going to write that check. You know, before I went off to college, I never even knew what an electricity bill was. So I didn't get to stand on my own 2 feet as far as that was going. But I soon found out what an electricity bill it was, and I soon learned how to turn the lights off. Especially when you're not in that room, or, you know, if you don't need to use it, it goes off or gets unplugged, right? I know a lot of people have been there, so... But that can be just a little thing that you can do, is learning to do one thing at a time. Or maybe it's just, like I said, learning how to get out of bed and get going in the morning, having a purpose, having a reason, having any of that stuff. Learning to be independent, you know, like I said, these two kind of go together, because I feel like every single person needs to learn how to be independent. You need to learn how to take care of yourself. You need to learn how to be there for yourself and just be yourself before you can ever help somebody else or be there for somebody else. I honestly believe that this is a really big one, because I, for one, thought that I was super duper independent and standing on my own 2 feet, and I was a strong-willed person. And then my entire world came crashing down one day, and I realized that I really wasn't, because I wanted to just throw in the towel and say, you know what, I'm out ski. See you guys later. I don't want to do this. And I honestly contemplated it a couple times, and I'm glad I didn't actually throw in the towel. But I wasn't standing on my own 2 feet, and I was not being independent, because I relied a lot on that time. I relied a lot on my roommate, and honestly it kind of hurt our relationship there for a little bit. We got in a super big fight, and probably scared all of our neighbors, not gonna lie. But it really did hurt our relationship. And then when she told me this is how I feel, I realized that I wasn't standing on my own 2 feet, and I was not being independent, and I was not taking care of myself or my stuff, and I needed to start doing that right now. So after that moment, you know, I apologized to her, and I was like, okay, yeah, I get the point. I get it. Backed off a little bit, and I just started learning to do things all on my own. And I think when I started to stand on my own 2 feet and becoming more independent, I learned a lot about myself. And this is something that a lot of people don't realize, that you need to take the time to learn a lot about yourself. You need to take the time to learn about yourself and just figure out who you are and what you're doing, your own individual style, that kind of stuff, you know. I'm a super quirky, weird, outgoing, well, no, I'm not very outgoing, but I'm quirky, I'm weird, I'm goofy, that kind of stuff. And I never showed that to anybody. For the longest time, I never showed anybody who my true face was. And not a single person really understood how goofy and weird I could really be, or nerdy, or Harry Potter references, that kind of stuff. A lot of people didn't even know that person actually existed until recently, and I started showing her a little bit more. And it probably takes a lot of them for shock, you know. But the fact of the matter is that's who I am. And through standing on my own 2 feet and becoming more independent, I've gotten to figure out my own individual style also. So, you know, the three kind of do tie together a lot. So one of my favorite things that I love to do, that I'm going to show you guys, because at first I thought this was a very weird thing to do. I honestly was like, no, this does not work. This is just crazy. This is not a normal thing for people to do. Like, what in the world, people? But somebody actually told me to do this, and they got it off of Grey's Anatomy. So if you guys recognize this little move and you watch Grey's Anatomy, well, that's where they also got it. So don't be surprised. But it's called the superhero pose. So whenever I was feeling a little bit down about myself, or I was still learning how to stand on my own 2 feet or be independent and that kind of stuff, and I just was letting everybody get to my head and saying, you can't do this, you can't do this, you really cannot do this, you just cannot do this kind of stuff. I started doing the Superman pose. I like to do it in the morning before I get going. Like right when I wake up, I get up and I I'm sorry, but you know, it really has helped a lot. So it made me feel silly at first, and it felt really silly just doing it then. But you want to know what? It can actually really help you. Superman pose. Why? Because you're putting it in your brain at that moment that you are Superman, Superwoman, whatever. You know, Sammy likes the pose too. She loves it. So, but you really are truly helping yourself at that very moment. It's not about anybody. It's not about anything, you know, even a little dog that might need you at that very moment. It's not about what you have to go do for the day. It's not about work. It's not about what's going on in your life. It's about the Superman pose and empowering yourself, because that is a super important thing, is empowering yourself. Every single person out there needs to feel empowered. So do the Superman pose. Just, and you know, point your head that way towards the sun, because it really does help. Or the sun. That's not the sun. The sun's that way. But point your head towards the sky, because it really does help, guys. It really, truly has helped me a lot. And at first it does feel super silly, but you know what? It is what it is. So, and guess what? When you do the Superman pose, you step out of bed and you do it, you're planting your feet on the ground. This is super important in learning how to stand on your own 2 feet, because believe it or not, when you plant your feet on the ground, it's learning to stand on your own 2 feet right there. It's honestly what it is. It's learning to stand on those 2 feet and planting your feet in the ground. Kind of almost think of it as they're planting seeds, and the seeds are just growing into roots, and they're going to grow into this beautiful tree or flower, whatever you prefer. But that's just a way to kind of look at it, that you're growing and you're planting your seed right there. Your 2 feet are your seeds that are going to grow up into your plants of whatever kind that you want to be. I'm a tree because, I don't know, I like trees. So that's what I refer to myself. I'm still growing, I'm still learning, you know, but the feet are planted on the ground. So I've been learning to stand on my own 2 feet, doing things completely on my own. Recently taking myself out to dinner, you know, or taking myself to a movie or whatever it is. That also helps with the independence part. You know, and then I honestly feel like once you can do that, you really can truly, you know, if it's wanting to be with somebody, if you're wanting to find that person to spend the rest of your life with or whatever it is, these are key things that can probably help you in the direction to go there, because once you can help yourself, once you can be independent and take care of yourself, well then think about it, you can probably take care of that person too, you know. Life isn't always a for sure thing. I unfortunately know that all too well, but it is an amazing, beautiful thing, and it is wonderful, and there's a lot of things to still experience out there and still find, and you can't do that if you're scared, and you can't do that if your feet aren't planted on the ground and you're not independent and you're not taking care of yourself. So take time for yourself, take time to learn to do things all on your own, learn to go to a class all by yourself, learn to go shopping all by yourself, you know. In the past year, I've probably learned to do a lot by myself, and it's probably helped me a lot. Actually, it's probably helped me in so many more ways than I realized. And at first I probably felt alone, but now I feel super independent, and I feel super just as if I could take charge. If something were to come throwing at me, if a ball was to hit me in the head today, well, I could take myself to the hospital and, you know, take care of that, you know. Please don't throw a ball at me if you're listening to this, you know. The almighty man upstairs can probably hear this right now, and he's sitting there going, you know, sometimes I think that I am God's favorite comedy show, you know, or drama show. He has literally probably changed the channel to me plenty of times, because I am probably the klutziest person for being a ballerina since I was like 5-6 years old. Yeah, I'm pretty klutzy, so, but, you know, it is what it is. Learn to go with it, you know. You fall up the stairs, well then keep going up the stairs. Don't just sit there at the bottom of the stairs and be like, well, crap, I just fell up the stairs. I fell down going up the stairs. Usually people fall down going down the stairs, but no, I fell down going up. That's okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Get back up and keep going up the stairs. You know, it's, what is that old saying? Get back on the horse, you get kicked off, get back on the horse. I actually got bucked off one time when I was little, and my cousin just looked at me and said, "He, get back on that horse right now." And I looked at him and I said, "No, I'm not getting back on that horse. That thing just bucked me off. You think I'm gonna get back on him? That's not happening. I'm sorry, I'm going back inside." He said, "No, you need to get back on that horse right now, because for one, you're scared. And for two, that horse's feelings are hurt. And for three, you need to get back up on that horse. You need to do it." You wanna know what? I got back up on that horse. I cried a little bit because I didn't want to, but then when I was on the horse, when I was back in the saddle, it was amazing. It was literally what I needed to do. Get back in the saddle, get back on the horse, and we went for another round, you know. And I'll tell you what, that horse was just jaunting along, a little bit more careful because he didn't want to buck me off again, but we were both being a little bit more careful, it's true, and that's okay. There is nothing wrong with being a little bit careful, that's fine. But we were both looking out for each other, and we were both taking the time to just figure it out and help each other out. And the horse and I helped each other that day, you know. He bucked me off and I learned to get back on. Simple as that, you know. But seriously though, take the time to just figure it out. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go? Why do you want to be independent? Why do you need to stand on your own 2 feet? You know, that kind of stuff. Everybody needs to be able to stand on their own 2 feet and be super independent all at the same time. It's weird, but it's true. And it will help you in the long run rather than just a short-term help. It will help you later on down the road. If something was to happen, which I hope nothing happens to anybody ever, I wish that were a thing, but if something were to happen, then you could take care of yourself and you can take care of that, because you have learned to step down onto your own 2 feet. You know, you've planted the roots, you figured out how to grow it, you figured out how to water it, now get going. Get back on the horse. That kind of stuff, you know? Finding your individual style, learning to be independent. Like I said, super important. I honestly probably took me the last year to just learn how to do all of that. Learning just to learn to stand on my own 2 feet again. Learning to get myself up off that bathroom floor, because I was literally laying down on that bathroom floor, you know, just thinking, yeah, I give up. I'm done. Nope, not gonna happen. And I'm honestly glad that at that time Sammy walked in, and you know what? She sat there on my lap and kind of looked at me like, lady, my food bowl, it's empty. Go fill it, you know? And because of her, I got up. So find a reason to get up. If you need a reason to put your feet down on the ground and plant your own 2 feet and learn to be independent, didn't find it, you know. Sammy was my reason that day. Sammy was the reason I got up off the floor. Sammy was the reason that I, you know, sometimes got up because she needed to be fed. Somebody needs to take her outside, and that's okay. I used her as a crutch for a while, and that's fine, but now I don't need her as my crutch. She's just my little companion and my little friend and my entertainment sometimes, and that's even better. So, and because of that, you know what? I love my dog. I probably, yeah, she's a little spoiled, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that because she deserves to be spoiled. But that's the other thing, you know. I used so many things in my life as crutches, and that can almost hurt you more than anything else, is using something as a crutch. You know, my ex-boyfriend cheated on me multiple times. He treated me like crap, so I used that as a crutch. That's why I didn't like to go out. That's why I don't like to go meet new people, because he, you know, because of that. But I've stopped using him as a crutch, and it's almost helped me. It's almost like a weight's lifted off my shoulders because I don't have that crutch anymore. I don't have that whole reason to not keep going because this happened to me kind of thing. And that, I think, is almost better, learning to do that, than a lot of things. Learning to let go of that crutch actually helps you plant your 2 feet firmly on the ground. Get rid of the crutches. Let them go. Move on. You know, whatever you're using as a crutch at the moment, maybe something happened and you just don't want to do it. Maybe, you know, you were in an accident of some sorts, or something just dramatic happened and you just want to use that as your constant crutch. Well, don't use it anymore. Let it go. Move on. Drop the crutches. Put your 2 feet down on the ground and get to moving. Hey guys, so my battery kind of died a little bit there earlier, but I just wanted to say that was it. But thank you for watching my video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!